What if I told you that right now, somewhere in the desert, there's a vehicle driving with no battery, no gas, and it's actually gaining power as it moves? Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, buckle up, because what you're about to hear might just flip everything you thought you knew about energy on its head. Let me take you back to where this whole thing started. Picture this. It's a quiet Tuesday morning, and suddenly the internet explodes. Someone just leaked a photo of a private aircraft touching down in Zimbabwe. Nothing too crazy about that, except this wasn't just any plane. The whispers started immediately. Tight security. No announcements. No media circus. Just silence. Now, here's where it gets interesting. A few days later, another leak drops. This time it's footage of a vehicle rolling out from a research compound in Africa. But this isn't your typical car. It's painted completely black, moving across the ground without making a single sound. No engine roar. No exhaust fumes. Nothing. And yet, it's gliding along like it's powered by something we can't even see. Engineers around the world went quiet when they saw this. The comments section? Absolute chaos. People couldn't wrap their heads around what they were watching. Was this real? Was it some kind of elaborate hoax? And the biggest question of all, why would one of the world's most famous tech innovators suddenly show up in Africa? Let's rewind for a second. There's this inventor, right? Someone most people had never heard of outside certain circles. While the rest of the world was busy arguing about battery ranges and charging stations, this guy was claiming he'd built something completely different. A system that didn't need charging at all. Ever? Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? That's exactly what most people thought. In fact, the scientific community pretty much laughed it off. But here's the thing about true innovation. Sometimes the craziest ideas turn out to be the ones that change everything. So what happened behind closed doors? According to people who were actually there, these two minds sat down together for 12 straight hours. No phones. No interruptions. Just two visionaries locked in a room, surrounded by prototypes and technical diagrams. And when they finally emerged, one of the engineers present said something that sent chills down everyone's spine. If they actually pull this off, we're going to have to rewrite the textbooks. Think about that for a moment. We're not talking about making batteries last a little longer or charging a bit faster. We're talking about potentially eliminating the concept of charging altogether. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's impossible. Energy has to come from somewhere. And you're absolutely right to be skeptical. That's what makes this whole story so wild. The claim here is that this system can tap into electromagnetic fields that already exist all around us. The Earth itself is constantly generating these fields, and the theory is that we've just been ignoring them. Imagine driving from coast to coast, and instead of your range decreasing, it's actually increasing the more you drive. Your car essentially feeding itself from the environment around it. No pit stops. No plugging in overnight. Just endless motion. When word of this potential breakthrough started spreading through industry circles, the reaction was immediate and intense. Stock markets started fluctuating. Energy companies called emergency board meetings. Government officials began asking questions. A lot of questions. And here's something that really caught my attention. A massive construction project suddenly appeared in satellite imagery. Right there in the middle of nowhere, this enormous circular structure was being built. No official announcements. No press releases. Just this mysterious facility rising from the desert floor. People started calling it the Infinite Energy Lab. Now, whether that name is accurate or just wishful thinking, nobody knows for sure. But the scale of this thing, it's massive. We're talking about a facility that could potentially house technology capable of powering vehicles, homes, maybe even entire cities, without any traditional energy input. Fast forward a few weeks. It's 4 a.m, and a convoy of heavily secured vehicles arrives at an undisclosed testing site. Inside this facility sits a prototype that looks like it came straight out of a futuristic movie. No visible battery compartment. No charging ports. Just this sleek vehicle with something installed at its core that nobody outside that room fully understands. The countdown begins. Engineers are monitoring dozens of screens, tracking every possible data point. The tension in that room must have been absolutely suffocating. Years of work, millions of dollars, and countless hours of research all coming down to this single moment. 10, 9, 8. System syncing up. 7. 6. Both inventors standing side by side, watching. 5. 4. And then something strange happens. This deep, resonant hum starts vibrating through the entire facility. Not mechanical, more like harmonic, almost musical. 3, 2, 1. And then it happens. The vehicle lifts, not with jet engines or propellers. Just this subtle levitation, surrounded by a faint bluish glow. And then it starts moving. Smoothly, silently, circling the testing area with absolutely zero input from any conventional power source. But here's the part that really blew everyone's mind. The power readings weren't going down. They were going up. The longer it ran, the more energy it seemed to generate. Engineers checking their instruments couldn't believe what they were seeing. Some thought the sensors were broken. Others just stood there in stunned silence. Now, predictably, footage from this test didn't stay secret for long. Within hours, clips were spreading across every platform you can imagine. And the world lost its mind. Energy corporations went into panic mode. Government laboratories demanded immediate briefings. Financial markets started experiencing serious volatility. Think about what this technology would mean if it's real and scalable. Oil prices wouldn't just drop, they could potentially become irrelevant. Power grids as we know them, possibly obsolete. The entire foundation of global energy infrastructure, up for complete transformation. But with opportunity comes danger. Reports started emerging that the test data had been intercepted. Other nations were apparently attempting to replicate the technology. What started as a private research project had suddenly become a global race. And this is where things take an absolutely bizarre turn. At 3:17 in the morning, monitoring systems picked up something unusual. A signal, a frequency that matched the exact energy signature of the prototype. But this signal wasn't coming from any testing facility on Earth. It was coming from space, from orbit. Let that sink in for a second. The energy field they were working with somehow triggered a response from something outside our planet. Engineers initially thought it was equipment malfunction, but the readings were clear and consistent. Something up there was responding to what was happening down here. When the inventors analyzed this signal, they discovered it wasn't random interference. It had structure, pattern, rhythm, almost like communication. Observatories around the world confirmed it. A repeating sequence directed toward Earth. Governments immediately went into crisis mode. Emergency meetings were convened. Satellite monitoring intensified. And after days of analysis, they decoded what appeared to be a message. Short, simple, and absolutely terrifying. You have awakened what was sleeping. Now, faced with this situation, one of the inventors wanted to shut everything down immediately. But the other insisted that wasn't possible. That the energy they tapped into wasn't just some unlimited power source. It was part of something much larger. Something interconnected with the fabric of space itself. They decided on one final test. To channel the energy back outward, hoping to stabilize the connection. When they activated the system, the sky lit up. Massive auroras appeared over multiple continents simultaneously. The ground trembled. The hum grew deafening. And then, complete silence. When the sky cleared, there it was. A sphere, floating high in the stratosphere. A self-sustaining satellite, powered by the same energy field, now in stable orbit. Broadcasting a single message, the balance is restored. In the weeks that followed, something incredible happened. Electrical grids worldwide began operating more efficiently. Climate readings showed unexpected improvements. This mysterious atmospheric energy started integrating with existing systems, providing clean power on a scale nobody had anticipated. The inventors made a bold decision. They released all their research publicly. Open source, free for anyone to study and develop. They understood that something this significant couldn't belong to any single company or nation. It belonged to humanity. So where does this leave us? We're standing at a moment that might just represent the biggest shift in human civilization since we first harnessed fire. The age of fighting over limited resources could be giving way to an era of abundance we've only dreamed about. Children around the world now look up at night and see a faint golden glow in the sky, a symbol of what's possible when vision meets courage, when competition transforms into cooperation. This partnership didn't just push technology forward. It potentially rewrote our entire future. And the most beautiful part? It shows us that the universe might have been ready to give us unlimited energy all along. We just needed to learn how to listen. The future isn't built by those who hoard power. It's built by those brave enough to dream beyond everything we thought was possible. If this story got your mind racing about what's next for humanity, smash that like button. Subscribe because we're living through history right now, and you're not going to want to miss what happens next. Drop a comment below and tell me, are we ready for unlimited energy? Or are we about to open Pandora's box? Let's talk about it. Until next time, keep dreaming beyond the impossible.